Okay, so this is the Daf Yomi for April 2nd, 2025. We're in Sanhedrin 106. Here we go. At the end of 105, it says, "For the Lord shall smite Israel as a reed is shaken in water." 1 Kings 14:5, just like a reed that stands in a place near water, as the water sustains it, and its stalk replenishes itself. We're in 106 now, as if it is cut, another grows, and its roots are numerous, and even if all the winds that are in the world come and gust against it, they do not move it from its place and uproot it. Rather, it goes and comes with the winds. And once the winds subside, the reed remains in its place. But Balaam the wicked blessed them with a cedar. There is an aspect of curse in that blessing, as he was saying that there would be like a cedar and does not stand in a place near water, and its roots are few relative to its height. And its trunk does not replenish itself, as if it is cut, and it does not grow back. And even if all the winds that are in the world come and gust against it, they do not move it from its place and uproot it. But once a southern wind gusts, it immediately uproots the cedar and overturns it on its face. Moreover, it is the reed that was privileged to have a quill or kulmos taken from it to write scrolls of Torah, prophets, and writings. Therefore, the curse of Ahithophel is better than the blessing of Balaam. It is stated with regard to Balaam, and he looked at the Kenite and took up his parable and said, "Though firm is your dwelling place, and though your nest be set in rock," Numbers 24:21, Balaam said to Yethro, "Kenite, were you not in Egypt with us in that council to drown the newborn males of Israel? Who placed you alongside the mighty of the world?" The Gemara comments, and that is what Rabbi Chia bar Abba says, that Rabbi Simai says, three were associated in that council, and they are Balaam, Eov, and Yethro. So Balaam, Job, and Jethro. Balaam, who advised to drown the newborn males, was killed. Job, who was silent and was reluctant to express his opinion, was sentenced to suffer afflictions. And Yethro, who fled after he disagreed with that council and Pharaoh sought to kill him, his descendants were privileged to sit as scribes in session with the Sanhedrin in the chamber of hewn stone, as it is stated. And the families of the scribes who dwelt in Jabez, the Tirathites, and the Shimeathites, and the Suchathites. And these were the Kenites who came from Hamath, the father of the house of Rachav. 1 Chronicles 2:55. And it is written there with regard to the identity of the Kenites, quote, "And the children of the Kenite, Moses' father-in-law, went up from the city of the palm trees," Judges 1:16. And with regard to the verse, "And he took up his parable and said, Alas, he who lives from what God has appointed him," Numbers 24:23. Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish says, "Woe unto one who sustains himself in an indolent manner in the name of God." That is Balaam, whose livelihood was from speaking in the name of God. Rabbi Yochanan says, "Woe unto the nation that will be found hindering the Jewish people at the time when the Holy One, blessed be he, redeems his children, who places his garment between a male lion and a female lion when they are mating. One who does so will certainly die." With regard to the verse, "And ships come from the coast of Kittim," Numbers 24:24. Rob says this is the Roman legion, or Libun Aspir, that will attack Assyria. "And they shall afflict Assyria, and they shall afflict Eber," Numbers 24:24. Before they reach Assyria, they will kill the Jewish people, and from that point forward, they will enslave them and not kill them. Balaam said to Balak, "Behold, I will go to my people. Come therefore, and I shall advise you what this people shall do to your people," Numbers 24:14. Ostensibly, he should have said, "What your people shall do to this people." Rabbi Abba bar Kahana says, "Balaam spoke like a person who curses himself, but does not wish to utter so awful a matter, and instead ascribes his curse to take effect on others." Balaam said to them, "The God of these Jewish people despises lewdness, and they desire linen garments, as they have no new garments. Come, and I will give you advice. Make for them enclosures using wall hangings, and seat prostitutes in them, with an old woman outside the enclosure and a young woman inside, and have the women sell them linen garments." Balak made for them enclosures using wall hangings from the snow mountain, the Hermon, until Beit HaYeshimot, and he sat prostitutes in them, with an old woman outside and a young woman on the inside. And at the time when the Jewish people were eating and drinking and were glad and going out to stroll in the marketplace, the old woman would say to a Jew, "Aren't you seeking linen garments?" He would enter the enclosure and ask the price. The old woman would quote him a price equal to its value, and the young woman would quote him a price less than its value. That scenario would repeat itself 2 or 3 times, and thereafter he would say to them, "You are like a member of our household. Sit and choose for yourself the merchandise that you want." and a jug of Ammonite wine was placed near her. And neither Ammonite wine nor Gentile wine had been prohibited yet for Jews. And she said to him, "Is it your wish to drink a cup of wine?" Once he drank the wine, his evil inclination burned within him. He then said to her, "Submit to me," and basically submit to me. Then she removed the idol that she worshipped from her lap and said to him, "Worship this." He said to her, "Am I not Jewish? I am therefore forbidden from engaging in idol worship, of course." And she said to him, "And what is your concern? We are asking you to do nothing more than defecate in its presence." But he does not know that its worship is conducted in that manner. So once he did so, she said to him, "Moreover, I will not leave you until you deny the Torah of Moses your teacher, as it is stated." But when they came to Baal Peor, they separated themselves to the shameful item, and they became detestable like that which they loved. Hosea 9:10. They devoted themselves to the disgrace of defecation and detested the name of God. And with regard to the verse, "And Israel dwelt in Shittim," Numbers 25, verse 1. Rabbi Eliezer says, Shittim is the name of the place. Rabbi Yehoshua says, it is an allusion to the fact that they engaged in matters of nonsense, or shitut, prostitution, idol worship. With regard to the verse, "and they called," or V'tikerena, the people to the offerings of their gods, Numbers 25, verse 2. Rabbi Eliezer says, naked women encountered them. Rabbi Yehoshua says, they all became those who experienced an emission, karayin, resulting from the lust that they experienced. And apropos the homiletic interpretation of the names of the places, the Gemara asks, what is the connotation of the term Rephidim? Exodus 19, verse 2. Rabbi Eliezer says Rephidim is the name of the place. Rabbi Yehoshua says it is an allusion to the fact that they enfeebled or repoo themselves with regard to engaging in matters of Torah. As it is stated, the fathers do not look back to their children from feebleness or rifion of hands. Jeremiah 47, verse 3. There too, the connotation of the name is dereliction in the study of Torah. Rabbi Yochanan says, everywhere that it is stated, "and he dwelt," it is nothing other than an expression of pain, of an impending calamity, as it is stated, "And Israel dwelt in Shittim, and the people began to commit harlotry with the daughters of Moab." Numbers 25, verse 1. And it is stated, quote, "And Jacob dwelt in the land where his father had sojourned in the land of Canaan." Genesis 37, verse 1. "And it is stated thereafter, and Joseph brought evil report of them to his father." Genesis 37, verse 2, which led to the sale of Joseph. And it is stated, "And Israel dwelt in the land of Egypt, and the land of Goshen." Genesis 47, 27. And it is stated thereafter, and the time drew near that Israel was to die. Genesis 47, 29. It is stated, quote, "And Yehuda and Israel dwelt safely, every man under his vine and under his fig tree." 1 Kings 5, 5. And it is stated, quote, "And the Lord raised up an adversary to Solomon, Hadad the Edomite. He was the king's seed in Edom." 1 Kings 11:14. With regard to Balaam, it is stated, "And they slew the kings of Midian with the rest of their slain. And Balaam, son of Beor, they slew with the sword." Numbers 31, verse 8. The Gemara asks, Balaam, what did he seek there? What was his role in that war? He lived in Aram. Rabbi Yochanan says he went to collect payment for 24,000 members of the Jewish people whom he felled with his advice. Mar Zutra Bartovia says that Rav says that this is in accordance with the adage that people say, a camel goes to seek horns, and the ears that it had are severed from it. Not only was Balaam unsuccessful in collecting his fee, he also lost his life. And it is stated, "And Balaam son of Beor the diviner did the children of Israel slay with the sword among the rest of their slain." Joshua 13:22. The Gemara asks, was he a diviner? He is a prophet. Rabbi Yochanan says, initially he was a prophet, but ultimately he lost his capacity for prophecy and remained merely a diviner. So Rav Papa says that this is in accordance with the adage that people say, this woman was descended from the princes and rulers and was licentious with carpenters. With regard to the latter part of the verse, "And Balaam son of Beor the diviner did the children of Israel slay with the sword among the rest of their slain." Joshua 13:22. Rav says that it means that they accomplished in him all four means of court-imposed executions: stoning, burning, beheading, strangulation. A certain heretic said to Rabbi Hanina, "Have you heard how old Balaam was when he died?" Rabbi Hanina said to him, "It is not written explicitly in the Torah, but from the fact that it is written, bloody and deceitful men shall not live out half their days," Psalms 55:24, this indicates that he was 32 or 34 years old, less than half the standard 70-year lifespan. The heretic said to him, "You have spoken well. I myself saw the notebook of Balaam, and it was written therein, Balaam the lame was 32 years old when Pinchas, the highwayman, killed him." Amar, son of Ravina, said to his son, "With regard to all those enumerated as not having a share in the world to come, do not extensively interpret verses homiletically in order to denigrate them, except with regard to Balaam the wicked, as any negative element that you discover in his regard, continue to interpret homiletically concerning him, as it is appropriate to attribute wickedness to one so wicked." It is written in one verse, Doeg the Edomite, 1 Samuel 22, verse 9. And it is written in another verse, and the king said to Doeg, 1 Samuel 22:18, or Doeg. Rabbi Yochanan says, in explaining the discrepancy, initially the Holy One, blessed be He, sat and was concerned in Doeg that perhaps this person would emerge to undertake an evil path. After he emerged on that path, God said, "Alas, that person has emerged to undertake an evil path." The Gemara cites a mnemonic for the statements of Rabbi Yitzhak that follow: mighty, wicked, and righteous, riches, encounter. Rabbi Yitzhak says, "What is the meaning of that which is written? Why boast of your evil, mighty one? The mercy of God endures continually." Psalms 52, verse 3. The Holy One, blessed be He, said to Doeg, "Aren't you mighty in Torah? Why do you boast of evil? Isn't God's mercy extended over you continuously when you engage in His Torah?" And Rabbi Yitzhak says, "What is the meaning of that which is written? But to the wicked God says, what have you to do to declare my statutes, and that you have taken my covenant in your mouth?" Psalms 50, verse 16. The Holy One, blessed be He, said to Doeg the wicked, "Why do you speak of my statutes and my Torah? When you reach the Torah portion of murderers and then the Torah portion of slaughterers, do you teach them? You have violated both." With regard to the end of that verse, it says, quote, "In that you have taken my covenant in your mouth," Psalms 50, verse 16. Rabbi Ami says Doeg's Torah is only insincere lip service, as it is in his mouth but not in his heart, but he does not have a profound understanding of the Torah and does not commit himself to the performance of its mitzvot. Rabbi Yitzchak says, "What is the meaning of that which is written, quote, in the righteous shall see and fear and shall laugh at him," Psalms 52, verse 8. Initially, they will fear Doeg due to his success, and ultimately they will laugh when they witness his downfall. And Rabbi Yitzchak says, "What is the meaning of that which is written? He has swallowed riches, and he shall vomit them again. God shall cast them out of his belly." Job 20, verse 15. David said before the Holy One, blessed be He, "Master of the universe, Doeg shall die." God said to him, "He has swallowed riches, and he shall vomit them again. He is filled with Torah and wisdom. Wait until he forgets what he has learned." David said before him, "God shall cast them out of his belly." God can remove his Torah knowledge from him before he will forget it on his own. Rabbi Yitzchak says, "What is the meaning of that which is written? God shall likewise destroy you forever." Psalms 52, verse 7. The Holy One, blessed be He, said to David, "Let Doeg enter the world to come." David said before him, "God shall likewise destroy you forever." That is, let Doeg not have eternal life. What is the meaning of that which is written? "He shall pluck you away and pluck you from your tent and root you out from the land of the living." Selah. Psalms 52, verse 7. The Holy One, blessed be He, said to David, "At least let them state a halacha in the study hall in His name." David said before him, "He shall pluck you away and pluck you from your tent. Let him be completely removed from the tents of Torah." God said to him, "Let him have sons who are sages." David said, and root you out from the land of the living, Salah, and let Doeg be entirely uprooted." Rabbi Yitzchak says, "What is the meaning of that which is written? Where is he that counts? Where is he that weighs? Where is he that counts the towers?" Or Gidalim, Isaiah 33:18. "Where is he that counts all the letters of the Torah? Where is he that weighs, who considers all the elements of an a fortiori inference in the Torah? Where is he who counts the towers?" This is Doeg, who would count 300 halakhic conclusions with regard to the purity of a cupboard or a migdal that floats in the air. Avir. This is very interesting because some people point out in this specific instance that so they're talking about Doeg, who is he was able to derive 300 halachot regarding a tower that floats in the air. And only in our generation do we now have like stuff that floats up and orbits in the sky. So there's like the International Space Station and other things that are up there that are almost like towers in the sky. But it does harken back to taking a passage entirely literally, that whenever they came into the land of Canaan to make war on the nations of the Canaanites, that there were cities were in the sky. It says literally that the cities were in the sky. But I don't know, make of it what you will, but it's there in the Torah. So Rabbi Yehuda Hanassi says Doeg and Ahithophel raised 400 dilemmas with regard to the purity of a cupboard that floats in the air, and they did not resolve even one, an indication of the great knowledge. Rava says it is in greatness to raise dilemmas. This is not a barometer of greatness, as in the years of Rav Yehuda, all of their Torah study was confined to the order of nizakin, which is damages, and we study much more than that, and are expert even in the tractate of Okatzin, the final tractate in the difficult order of Taharot, or purities. Okay, moreover, when Rav Yehuda would encounter the Mishnah in tractate Okatzin that discusses the extent to which the stems of various fruits and vegetables are considered an integral part of produce in terms of contracting ritual impurity, where the Mishnah discusses the halakha concerning a woman who pickles a vegetable in a pot. And some say, when we reach the Mishnah, Okatzin 2:1, olives pickled with their leaves are pure, because after pickling it is no longer possible to lift the fruit by its leaves, so they are no longer considered part of the fruit. He would find it difficult to understand. He would say, those are the discussions between Rav and Shmuel that we see here, and we, by contrast, teach tractate Okatzin in 13 academies. But nevertheless, when Rav Yehuda would remove one of his shoes, the rain would immediately fall, whereas we cry out and no one notices. Rather, the Holy One, blessed be He, seeks the heart, and the barometer of greatness is devotion of the heart, and not the amount of Torah that one studies, as it is written. But the Lord looks on the heart. 1 Samuel 16, verse 7. 1 Samuel 16, verse 7. Rav Meshashia says Doeg and Ahithophel did not comprehend halakhic discussions. Mar Zutra objects to this statement. These are people with regard to whom it is written, where is he that counts? Where is he that weighs? Where is he that counts the towers? Isaiah 33:18. And you say that they do not comprehend halakhic discussions. Rather, Doeg and Ahithophel would not conclude halakhic discussions in accordance with the halakhic rulings, as it is written. Quote, the secret of the Lord is with those who fear him. Psalms 25:14. Since they did not fear God, they did not arrive at halakhic conclusions despite their keen intellect. Rabbi Ami says, Doeg died only when he forgot what he learned, as it is stated. He shall die for want of instruction, and in his folly he shall go astray. Proverbs 5:23. Rav Ashi says, he was afflicted with leprosy before his death, as it is stated, those that go far from you should perish. You destroy, or hitzmata, all those who go astray from you. Psalms 73, verse 27. Where's the allusion to leprosy in this verse? It is written there, quote, and the land shall not be sold in perpetuity. So it's litzmitut, Leviticus 25:23, and we translate it into Aramaic as la chalutin. And we learned in a Mishnah with regard to leopards, Megillah 8b, the difference between a quarantine leper, so one examined by a priest who found his symptoms to be inconclusive, one who must therefore remain in isolation for a period of up to 2 weeks to see if conclusive symptoms develop, and a confirmed muhlat, or leper, that is one whose symptoms were conclusive and the priest declared him a confirmed leper, is only with regard to letting the hair on one's head grow and rending one's garments. The derivation is based on the etymological similarity between hitzmata and litzmitut. The translation of litzmitut as lachalutin, in the etymological similarity between lachalutin and muhlat. The Gemara cites a mnemonic for the halachot that follow: 3 saw and half and called him. Rabbi Yochanan says, 3 angels of destruction encountered Doeg, one who caused him to forget his Torah knowledge, one who burned his soul, and one who dispersed the ashes of his soul in synagogues and in study halls to be trampled beneath the feet of the righteous. Rabbi Yochanan says, Doeg and Ahithophel did not see one another, as both died at a young age. Doeg lived in the days of Shaul, and Ahithophel lived in the days of David, toward the end of David's life. And Rabbi Yochanan says, Doeg and Ahithophel did not reach half their allotted days, as they died before the age of 35, half the standard lifetime mentioned in the verse. The days of our years are 70 years, Psalms 90, verse 10. This is also taught in the Braita. Bloody and deceitful men shall not live out half their days, Psalms 55, 24. All the years of Doeg were only 34, and the years of Ahithophel were only 33. And Balaam was 32, if you remember the statement earlier. And Rabbi Yochanan says, initially David called Ahithophel his teacher, and eventually he called him his colleague, and ultimately he called him his student. Initially David called Ahithophel his teacher, as it is stated, but it was you, a man, my equal, my master, Alufi, and my familiar friend, Psalms 55:14. A teacher is known as Aluf, as he trains, or Ma'alef, his students. And eventually he called him his colleague, as it is stated, we took sweet counsel together and walked to the house of God with the throng. Psalms 55:15. The term together indicates that they were equals. And ultimately he called him his student, as it is stated, even my own familiar friend in whom I trusted. And that's the end of 106. Thank you for watching.